All right, let's talk about Connor McDavid. Hello and welcome to Post to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. And you're wearing an Edmonton jersey, I'm wearing an Edmonton jersey. We're going to talk about Connor McDavid. So this is kind of like the Ovechkin video that we just filmed, where we got some flack for our McDavid comments on our captain video a couple of weeks ago or days ago or whenever it released. So we're going to discuss Connor McDavid a little more in depth, and you're kind of going to play the villain, and I'm going to kind of defend McDavid a little bit. And then we'll go from there. So I'll ask the same question as I did for the last video. In a broad way, how do you feel about McDavid?
Well, I feel that he is one of the most gifted hockey players to come into the league in quite some time. And in my opinion, he is the most gifted hockey player since Sidney Crosby when he was drafted in 2005. McDavid had a lot of buzz on him for a lot of years, even when he was just a young kid, because everyone was able to see that potential in him and what he could ultimately become at the NHL level. And, he's really silenced a lot of critics this year. He's currently sitting at 97 points. He could be the only guy to hit 100 points this year. He's got the Art Ross locked. He's doing incredible things now that he's, 100% healthy compared to last year with that unfortunate incident. We got a lot of flack for picking McDavid as one of our least favorite captains with, leadership qualities. And I want to defend that argument as much as I can by saying, he was made the captain at 19 years old. He only had a little over 40 games in the NHL under his belt, and the Edmonton Oilers made him the captain. And I became very disgruntled with that because I don't like guys that young becoming team captain. And I had the same argument even when they announced Crosby as the assistant captain. I hated it. Same with Landeskog, even Jonathan Toews in Chicago. I just don't feel these guys have everything that they need at this point in their career to be, the real guy that the other players rally behind, the captain, the face of the franchise could be another way you could look at it. Being that young, if you looked at it from the perspective of him not being a professional hockey player, he's a year and a half removed from high school, and yet he's going to be the captain of the Edmonton Oilers. I don't feel he has all the leadership qualities yet to be in that role. And secondly, you're putting stress on him before he even becomes fully adjusted to the NHL level. He didn't need that. They should have just let him play and go and develop more as a player with the Edmonton Oilers. But I almost feel it was kind of a money racket at the same time. They knew that they could market this kid and make bundles and bundles of cash, and what better way than to have that C on the jersey, right? Everyone wanted to buy it because, hey, it's McDavid, the captain of the Edmonton Oilers. And, that was my whole reasoning for picking McDavid in our list in that other video.
So one of the things that people said was, Connor McDavid is the best player on the team, so he should be captain. How do you feel about that statement?
Yeah, I really don't like that statement at all. In my opinion, just because you are the best player and you have the stats to back it up, it doesn't mean that you should instantly become the captain of the team. It boggles my mind. It's almost like the argument of, okay, well, he deserves the Norris Trophy as standout defenseman this year because he has the most points. I don't agree with that whatsoever. And I don't agree with the mindset of, okay, the best player has to be the captain. So if we looked at Colorado, is Landeskog the best player for the Colorado Avalanche? I don't agree with that. I think it's Nathan MacKinnon. Who's the captain? Landeskog. And does he have leadership qualities? He really does. However, I don't think he really did when they first announced him as the captain of the Colorado Avalanche. But that's just me.
And some people say, McDavid leads by example. And ever since the last video that we made, and we've got some flack, I made it a goal of mine to watch a few Edmonton games just to really, take some time to look at the guy, and maybe I was wrong, maybe I was right, who knows. So I did that, and I will say that he does lead by example. That is one of his best qualities. He makes the guys around him better, not just by his skill, but guys want to be like him, and guys want to, he leads by example. He sets a good stage. But as far as traditional leadership qualities, as far as, does he talk to guys and pump guys up in the dressing room in between periods or before games? I don't know. I can't answer that question, but from what I've read, he doesn't. There are other guys in the locker room who do. And to me, that's one of the most important things about being a captain. The other thing is talking to the refs. And I mentioned this in the last video. one of the most important things that a captain does is speak with the referees, and it's a responsibility that means that you know all of the rules inside and out. Does Connor McDavid know all of the rules inside and out, even the little ones that are rarely in the games? I don't know. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying I don't know because he's young, right? Like you said, 45 games, and then he was captain. Does he know all the rules? Probably, he knows probably 99% of them. But does he know that there's going to be that situation where that rule comes up and he has to talk to the ref about it, and he better know what he's talking about. So, there's more than just being a leader when you're captain. There's
Right.
other things that come with it.
Yep.
So, but I will say, like I said, I watched McDavid over the last couple of games that he's played, and I feel better about him being a captain. I will say that. Do I agree with him being captain? No, unfortunately, I still don't. But I definitely feel better about it, and he's a different person and leader than he was at the beginning of the year, from what I saw. So I think next year, and probably within 3 years, I'll feel pretty good about Connor McDavid being captain. But I think that there are other guys in the locker room, from what I've read, who have more leadership qualities than McDavid.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you could say too is, say if they're having a road trip down in California, they're playing San Jose and Anaheim and LA, and they want to do some team building exercises to bring the guys together. Well, hey, you better not include alcohol, right, in that team building exercise, because your captain can't drink it.
I never thought about that.
So what does he really have in common, with a lot of the older guys, besides being, an incredible hockey player, being obsessed with hockey and so on? I mean, geez, there's just such an age gap there between a lot of the guys. And I just don't like it when you're that young and you're really forced into that role. I mean, obviously, he didn't have to agree with it. They could have said, hey, we want to make you the captain. He could have spoke up right away and said, you know what, I don't want to do that. So, I mean, kudos to him for taking it on. But I just really feel that it kind of burdened him. And, yeah, he has excelled, definitely. I mean, look at his point total this year. He's on par to be the greatest player in the world right now already at the age of 20. But I just feel that the proper route would have been to let him develop more as a player and then give him that responsibility.
So let's step outside of hockey for a minute. Let's talk about, the real world. So if you're 19 and you go into an office environment and you have a group of 20 other people in your department,
right,
and you're there for half a year, and they make you manager of that department. And I know, not the same as hockey, but let's just look at this broadly. How do you think the older people in the department would feel about someone so young being their manager or their leader?
Yeah, I've actually seen stuff like this happen. I've actually been in organizations where it has happened. And I'll be 100% honest, it pissed me off. It did.
Did it piss you off because they weren't a good leader, or because you felt that you deserved it more, or like an older person would deserve it more? Be like, why is this young person being given the
both. You kind of feel that the young person is kind of being given something that they haven't yet 100% earned, and I think a lot of guys would probably look at it to say, well, geez, what have they really done, to be given this status? It's kind of a punch in the face to a lot of the other people, the longer standing. And it's just not a good vibe, in my opinion. But again, it doesn't fully relate to hockey by any means.
So the last question I have for you is, when do you think that McDavid will be 100% a legitimate captain and leader for the Edmonton Oilers or whoever he plays for?
Oh, by the time he's 25, he'll be a real seasoned player, and by then he'll really be hitting his strides. We could see this guy racking up 120, 130 points this season. He's that good. But again, I said in previous videos countless times about Ovechkin, I could peg McDavid as being one of those guys who's not the most defensively responsible. If McDavid's not scoring goals or getting points off the rush, well, he's barely scoring goals or picking up points. He's not all the time in those really tough areas. And people say all the time, well, he leads by example. Okay, yeah, he leads by example on the rush. What's he doing outside of the rush that's really leading by example?
Well said. Well, I think the last thing I'll ask is, kind of did this in the last video with Ovechkin, but what would you say to the people who give you flack for your Connor McDavid comments.
Look, Connor McDavid is one of the best hockey players in the world. I'm not knocking the guy there. I'm just not agreeing with Edmonton giving him the captaincy at such a young age, or any NHL franchise doing that with a player at such a young age. I just really, really don't like it.
Yeah, and
That's the only thing I'm really attacking here.
I think we can both say that Connor McDavid is one of our favorite players. We love watching Connor McDavid
Oh,
play.
he's exciting as hell. He's kind of like a human highlight reel, really, since he's come into the league. He's incredible, and he's just what the Edmonton Oilers needed desperately. I mean, look, they've made the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And I think next year is going to be very exciting to see him continue his career,
Yeah.
and he might even. And he's got how many points so far this year?
97.
97. So can he break 100 next year? Or how many games do they have left? 2?
They have 1 or 2. There's 1 or 2.
Maybe he'll even break 100 this year.
I'd like to see it happen,
Yeah,
because
me
then
too.
we could at least say somebody got 100 points.
Yeah.
Like, it's so rare now for somebody to pass that 100-point barrier.
It is, yeah.
You know?
All right, well, that wraps up this episode on Connor McDavid. If you disagree with Justin or me, that's totally fine. Leave your comments down in the comment section. But do it constructively, because at the end of the day, we're all hockey fans. And we love to debate hockey, whether we think you're right or wrong. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're all hockey fans, and we're all a YouTube hockey community. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Adios.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
Like it.
Title of the video.
Like it.